Hi, my name is Flo Rocker. On this edition of Flo Speaks, we address the issue of absentee fathers. Now, for some of us, we grew up with our dads. We had a wonderful working relationship. He bought us gifts. We enjoyed life. Whilst for some of us, we lost our fathers at an early age. For some people, they lost their fathers in their 30s, some in their 40s, some in their 50s, some even in their 60s. And there is the category of those who have fathers who are alive, but in terms of functionality, they are dead. My guest on the show today speaks about the devastating effects of having an absentee father. Watch for yourself.
Hey, Fala, what's up?
Hi, Flo.
Isn't it funny? Today, the tables are turned. I'm the one doing.
I know, it's kind of weird.
Aye. So let's talk about your dad. I remember when you and I were speaking about your dad, you know, it sounded like your dad was somewhere you couldn't locate him, like you couldn't touch him or something. But give me an insight into growing up with your dad.
That would be rather difficult because I didn't grow up with him.
You didn't grow up with your dad. Oh, okay. So you were groomed away. It was like your dad was working.
Nah. I think let me make myself very clear. We never met.
Why?
Well, as the story was told to me while I was growing up, he met my mom as a young single woman, and they got dating. He had a family, so, it's kind of common with a lot of grown men in Africa.
No, slow down. I don't, there's a rhythm you're trying to create that
Okay.
that I don't really understand.
So let me paint a picture.
Okay.
So here's this man who has a family,
Okay.
and he meets a young woman who's probably just a fresh undergrad or about to graduate.
Okay.
And they started to date. So typical married man, side chick situation. Yeah, I know it's weird to say, but now that this is the first time I'm saying it out loud, that,
So eventually he left the first woman and got married to your mom.
No, he didn't. He dated my mom. My mom got pregnant. He didn't want the scandal because, of course, he has a family. He wasn't prepared to have another child,
Okay.
with someone else. And she was instructed, if she wants the relationship to continue, to have an abortion.
Wow.
And she chose not to. And the dude checked out.
So he left.
Yeah, he left. Ended the relationship. Didn't want to have anything to do with her. And here I am.
So basically what you're trying to say is your mom had you, but he wasn't there. But when you were born, did he visit,
Nope. I heard from my grandmom that at some point when I was really little, they had tried to make sure he gets involved. You know how they want to put pressure on him. She's your responsibility, take your responsibility and all that.
Yeah.
And then I think they had taken me to him at some point as a baby or young toddler, and it didn't work out. So, and that was it. I don't know him because I don't have any memory. I was a toddler, so that was the only time we had, maybe he probably even saw me and maybe I saw him, but it didn't register in my memory. So I don't know him. I have never met him.
Whoa.
And I didn't meet him till he died.
Okay, slow down. So you never made contact with your dad?
No.
Okay, right now you're in your 30s.
Yeah.
So who was the father figure in your life?
My mother.
Your mom played dad
Yeah.
and played mom.
Yes, she did.
How was that for you? Because I'm sure you had friends
Yeah.
who had dads.
Yeah.
And you didn't even see yours, let alone make contact. So how did that affect you growing up?
Oh my gosh, it affected me a lot. I had friends who had dads, and for some reason, I never liked their dads.
Why?
Thinking back on it now, all my friends, primary school, maybe even early secondary school that I used to visit, I always had this resentment towards families where there's a dad and a mom and they had kids. It was always like, okay, so I don't have that in my own home, and then you guys have it and you're acting like you're all happy and stuff, and I just didn't like them. And then
Because your dad.
because I didn't have that, so and then my friend's dad, there's this part of me that would mentally just not pay attention to them, so I would always pay attention to my friends and their mothers. I was very good with my friends' moms, but their dads, I just always kept them, at a distance.
So the absence of your dad made you despise friends who had fathers just because your dad was...
Oh, and not just that. I just didn't like the idea of dads. Even till now, it's been very hard. When I started growing up and I started meeting people, like maybe, when I got into the university, late secondary school, I started going to church, and you have church leaders, pastors.
Yeah, people who kind of fill in that dad
And they like
gap.
to say that, I'm your father in the Lord. I used to really resent that. And then, people I remember I had, someone who was very close to me, a guy who was like, who were really good friends. And then, there was one day he made a statement like, I could be your dad. And that was the end for me. I just flipped out. Like,
Wow.
So
you
I didn't even want
So you practically became allergic to the word dad.
dad and male authority figures.
Wow.
Yeah, I did not like that because living with my mom it's an all-female household, My grandmother and my mom and myself, and even the cousins who lived with us were all female. So, and then my mom is an authority figure. My grandmother is a super authority figure. So I looked up to these women as, they could do anything. And my mom used to say it every time, like, okay, so what is a dad really going to do for you that I haven't done,
Okay. Now, but did your mom have a dad?
Yeah, she did.
Was he functional in her life?
No. He wasn't at some point.
So because she didn't really have a functional father, and the man she had you for was not present,
Not available.
it didn't make any difference to her, really.
Pretty much.
So that means, so how have you been able to handle relationships with men?
It's weird, awkward. I made so many mistakes. I made so many mistakes along the way, and I look at myself where I am now, and then I didn't know that the absence of a dad it was leaving such a huge gap, like this empty hole. If anybody had even attempted to tell me then that, okay, you're acting out this way because you don't have a father figure,
Dad.
I would fight it with every ammunition I've got. But right now, I'm older and I'm a little wiser and I'm learning and I'm, hearing stuff and experiencing stuff. So I'll be calm now and probably look inwards and look at myself and actually, like they say in local parlance, borrow myself brain.
You borrow yourself brain. That's a good one. Okay, so do you hope to get married someday
Yeah,
to a man?
of course.
Okay, I just wanted to be, So how do you hope to manage the emotional stability? Because I'm wondering how you're going to view him. Do you have fears that he may also escape? Like your dad did?
At some point, that was a major fear because, you see, I have to take you back to growing up and getting into relationship with men. The one of the major effects was that I got into relationships with men way earlier than I was supposed to.
Okay, and whose fault would you say that is? Is it for the lack of having a father figure in your life, or your mom was just missing? What would you attribute that to?
Maybe both.
Both.
Both because not having a father figure, obviously, and my mom was physically present, You know, I mean, we live in the same house, you know, see her every day when I go to school and stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's also a place where a mother would be emotionally available for the child. We didn't have that connection while I was growing up. And I just found myself, and then she was busy, really. She was really busy.
Yeah, I can imagine because she's trying to fill up the space of a dad. She's trying to be a provider. You know, but there is one thing that I find very interesting, and that's the fact that you said you never met your dad. So is it like you never saw his picture? You never...
Yeah. I didn't even know what he looked like. She didn't want to talk about him.